Last week I went through the backwaters for a presentation. Our presentation's name is A Day for Creativity. We are a group of people who are actually trying to come up with a curriculum for creativity, or the possibility of a curriculum. I'm not sure if it is possible, but we are exploring the possibility of a curriculum for creativity. While we were traveling, we reached a railway gate and we saw an old man. He was dragging his bicycle to a railway gate, and the gate was closed. It was raining, and the old man stood there, breathing heavily. He looked at us, smiled, and waved. Then we saw that he was actually lying on the bicycle. His head rested on the seat of the bike. Later I came to know that he just got out of the intensive care unit of a hospital. He stayed there for 15 days. After that, you know what's happening in the ICU units is it's experiments done for the sake of humanity. He said that I don't want any part of it, I'm out. And he came back to his routine. His routine is like this. Every day, he starts from his home, go to a tea shop, 2 kilometers away from his home, talks every nuances of left politics in India. Especially he interprets the meaning of our opposition leaders' yesterday's talk. What is the meaning of that? Only he understands the meaning. And by evening, he'll go back to his house and to his bed. He can't sit or anything, he can only lie in the bed. So that particular site gave me an insight about my struggles to come up with something of a curriculum for creativity. I started my career as a literary critic. My first book, The Book of Laments, was a moderate success. The second edition came within 2 years. I was labelled promising by critics. Then I joined Bhashaposhini, this literary magazine, and it just looked like the perfect platform to enrich my career as a literary journalist or a career as a writer. But I was wrong. The platform actually inflamed me. It gave me inspiration. I met a large number of people who are very creative and very highly successful. The importance of meeting highly successful people is that you get a share of their secrets to success. But something was wrong. I felt a hollowness inside. I couldn't write. I stared at the blank paper for a very long time. And it's very difficult to explain to your spouse that while you are sitting out, looking out of the window, you are actually working. So after 2 or 3 days, after 2 or 3 years, you know what happens is that when people who have creative capacities get stuck, they get sick. I became ill. And out of desperation, I started reading some ancient texts from India, from all religions actually. I have studied Christianity earlier, so I came back to Taoism and Sufism, such texts, consoling texts. Then I went back to ancient classics. And while reading one book, Jnana Vasishtam, Brihat Jnana Vasishtam, we only get a abridged form in Malayalam. It's called Lekhu Yoga Vasishtam. We don't have the other thing is much bigger. You can't read it, complete it, finish it. So while it's about Sri Raman's depression at the age of 50, he had a depression. And at that time, Vasishtan was his guru, then Vishwamitra was another guru, Janagan was another guru. All these people talked to him. It was collaborative education. Not a single teacher was teaching. Once even Vasishtan tells him that this question I can't answer, you have to go to Janagan, who is a king. This question can be answered only by a king. He also said that certain questions have to be answered by king. If I tell you the answer, you won't believe me. A king has to tell you. While reading this, I came across. I was trying the other platform like TED. I was continuously from 2006 onwards. After watching the first talk of Ken Robinson, I was actually and I became a little addicted to this. And this was part of my routine. I included this inside my routine. So I could watch TED Talks every day, early in the, you can download it very fast early in the morning. And you can watch it later whenever you want. So it's a good thing, it's a very good thing to start the morning. And there are other platforms also. Very good literary blogs like Maria Popova, she's 29, and her blog is excellent when it comes to literature. She discusses creativity also. That's also one of the methods. So there are a number of solutions. There are a number of habits, routines, all those things are there. Creativity roadblocks. I studied work-life balance, creativity roadblocks, meditations, and a lot of things. I don't think that it worked that much. But in this book I got a clue. That clue is to clean, that we can clean ourselves instead of our workspace. Instead of cleaning the workspace, you clean your inner self. It's a very interesting idea, and it will solve not only creative blocks but a lot of problems, a number of problems that we face. After that I read some Eastern medical texts, and I came to understand that the emotional ecology of a large number of people, fellow artists, it was in a very dangerous situation. I was able to do something to them. So I mailed them some files and all that, but they never accepted it. But then I started my workshop. And while doing the workshop, even though I am showing TED and other Western paradigms, other platforms, I always went through this commentary of Eastern texts, and I think it helped. It helped a lot of people. One of the things I came to understand is, I'll read it. When I say that about Eastern texts, I would like to tell you something about a Western text which came in 1972. Sheldon B. Cobb, a psychotherapist, wrote a book called "If You Meet the Buddha on the Road, Kill Him." That book is a wonderful book. That's a book for that's a book about the pilgrimage of psychological psychopaths, or what you call. You can't call them psychopaths, but you can call them mentally ill people. The book starts like this: in every age, men have set out on pilgrimages, on spiritual journeys, on personal quests. Driven by pain, drawn by longing, lifted by hope, they came in search of relief or joy. The emotionally troubled man of today, the contemporary pilgrim, wants to be a disciple of the psychotherapist. Actually, there is an element of neurosis in creativity. That's what Joshua Walters, a bipolar performer, said on a TED platform. He said that we can deny mental illness and we can embrace mental skillness. Actually, neurosis is, there is a difference between neurosis and psychosis. Neurosis is building castles in the air, and psychosis is living inside that castle. So it's very difficult to be creative if you are psychosis. But there are people who are creative and who are excellent writers who have psychosis also. But regarding neurosis, we all have this ups and downs every day. So none of us are mad. Everyone is a little crazy, we can say. So anyway, the writers are always comes under this bipolar spectrum. So we can use the hypomanic edge for art's sake. That's what they are saying. You need a lot of energy to do a creative work, like writing a 1000-page novel. You need a lot of energy. So you can use that manic edge, that hypomanic edge for writing that novel. But just be manic enough. Take only that much mania, don't go for the other side. But the other side, the writer have to be very careful when he goes to depression. There is all sorts of dangers lurking ahead. So, when I started talking about religion, there was a resistance, like a lot of people here were discussing from the public education and from the public. One was that intellectuals all over the world, especially in India, are against reading religious texts. They are conspiracies, they are supposed to be conspiracies to confuse the rational thinking man. So we don't read such stuff. It's only when you read that you will understand them. The problem, I think, is that we are approaching religion with logos, like bios logos, zoos logos, biology. We have to approach religion with mythos. When we approach religion with mythos, we will find a lot of material, creative material inside the Holy Bible, the I Ching, the Bhagavad Gita. These are all poor oracles. They don't give you anything, but they give you an immense material of literature, immense material for literature, and a lot of stuff to correct your emotional ecology. Dylan Thomas said that he said that I need an ideal, a perfect atmosphere to write my songs. He said that people need that to very peaceful and invigorating atmospheres to create. But I don't think he's right. A lot of people think so, but there are writers and writers. I think that if you fine tune it from inside, you can create pockets of stillness wherever you go, whenever you need. You can go into that stillness and you can write. So it doesn't mean I have traveled extensively. I have done a lot of things to come out of the blogs, like observing people, observing nature, listening people, listening nature, and all those things. The problem is that by cultivating those habits, you cannot go on doing those habits if those habits are not coming from inside. So while reading Jnana Vasishtam, Sri Raman's depression is very similar to the depression or the miseries of a perfectly melancholy artist. If you read Jnana Vasishtam, it's a very entertaining book. Nobody reads it. It's pure philosophy, but it's very, very, very entertaining also. And when I heard somebody speaking about this, I also thought about he had some bad teachers, like Vasishtan had a problem with women. He described women as a mixture of snake, poison and fire. And Vasishtan said that if you take something out, at first she will take out the fire, and if that doesn't kill the man, then she will take out the snake, and if he survives, she will poison him with arsenic, slowly, and every day. It will continue for every day for a long time. So expression is therapy. That's what I understood. After a long time I understood that expression is therapy. We have a belief that ideas can change the world. That's what we believe. A lot of people believe that ideas can change the world, but ideas cannot change the world. Ideas as it is cannot change the world. Ideas can change the world, but there are some missing links in between ideas and expression, ideas and experience to expression. So those missing links in between idea and experience, as well as experience and expression, who provides them with these missing links? That's a problem with most of the creativity blogs in our country, because nobody tells them what to do when they are stuck. So this thing, missing link, you have to identify these missing links. The first missing link is some cues or clues that you get from other people to do this, to convert this. If you have an idea, try to do this. Then you have to be patient, you have to experience it. And that experience, there you can use, in art you can use metaphor to convert experience to expression, or methodology to convert expression to experience to expression. I won't vote for methodology, because methodology is that when you do for PhD, you need a methodology. So after PhD, it took 5 years for me to unlearn that methodology. So it's better to opt the metaphor, because methodology is very limiting. Metaphor is expanding. So that is one of the reasons. We can all program creativity alarms inside our mind. To do that, the first thing we have to do is to confront solitude. Confront solitude means confronting ourselves. We have a confusion. Sometimes we confuse loneliness with with solitude. But solitude is a state when you understand that you are not alone. It's just the opposite. In solitude, you understand that you are not alone. There is somebody else inside you, and that is you. We are very hesitant to look at this person. We are very hesitant to look at ourselves. Maybe it's not a pretty sight. That's why we do not look at it. But this step is essential for creativity. If you do not look at it, if you do not understand yourself in solitude, if you do not contemplate yourself in solitude, you will never come up with anything original. Almost all the actions of the human beings are for escaping from this confrontation. Just observe your routines. every routines are linked one by one to avoid such a confrontation. This confrontation is essential for creativity. A few months back later, some of my friends who had similar predicaments, we downloaded a number of videos from TED and other platforms. We made some slides and we converted that into a program. We were doing it unconsciously. We were not consciously looking for a curriculum, but we came with 10 chapters like limitations and creativity. I think all these portions were covered by some of the speakers here. Like Shankar said about scarcity. Scarcity is good for creativity. Don't think that abundance is what we need for creativity. No. If you have an extraness of mind, you don't have any extra gettings. You don't need any gadgets. That's it. So creativity is, limitations are not something that kills creativity. Limitations are platforms which can inspire creativity. One example I will tell you. When I studied in my school, at the standard 5, it was a poor school, just started. The name was John F. Kennedy School. Only the name was capitalist, all other things were of third world. But later a student who studied there got admission in a university in America simply because the name of the school was John F. Kennedy. The school was run by some Republicans. So while I was studying there, they will tell you, suppose this is a test tube. They are holding a chalk, a piece of chalk, and they will tell you, suppose this is a test tube. So we have to imagine this as a test tube. Think. Then they will tell you, we are pouring this into this. That's blue color. Then we are pouring this into this. That is red color. You have to imagine the blue color and the red color. Then we mix it and the two colors disappear. You have to imagine that. Then we have to learn this is the mixture of this and this. This combines to form the third mixture. So do you think that scarcity is a problem for creativity? You can be creative anywhere. Most of the questions posed at Usha Shenai here were questions of helicopter parents. Parents who are monitoring every move of children. Parents who are following children all the way throughout their lives. Parents who are filling every waking hours with academic activities. So I think that we can build a curriculum. We came up to 10 chapters. All of you can contribute to it, and we can fulfill a curriculum for creativity. Thank you very much.